Welcome, curious listener, to The Deep Dive. If you need a shortcut to understanding, well, one of the most packed, narratively complex, and frankly kind of bizarre periods in recent gaming history, you are definitely in the right place today. We're plunging into an absolute 86-day whirlwind, Chapter 6, Season 4 Fortnite, Battle Royale. Most players just called it Season 37.
Yeah, this season it ran from August 7th all the way to November 1st, 2025, and it was the big finale for Chapter 6 on that specific island on Ninoshima. It was really defined by its core conflict, which the slogan, shock and awesome, just captured perfectly, didn't it? This huge bug invasion versus the military.
Right, and critically, this wasn't some slow buildup. Our mission today really is to quickly unpack the sheer density of those 86 days. Like, how did the game go from a decomposing monster tentacle attracting bugs to a finale with Power Rangers, Daft Punk, and Homer Simpson finding the key to reality itself? Wow.
Okay, let's just jump right in then. The whole bug war premise is a spectacular, but also kind of gross. It wasn't like aliens just showed up clean. It was actually a consequence of a victory from the season before, where the heroes, the supernovas, beat the dark presence.
Exactly right. That previous fight left this, massive decomposing tentacle from the dark presence just lying on Enoshima. And that rotting stuff basically acted like a giant grotesque beak, and it pulled in this huge swarm of mutated insectoids, the Onomorphs. They set up shop immediately, created their main base, the Hive.
Hang on, so the entire premise, this massive military season, the bug war, it got triggered by the smell of an old enemy. That sounds almost comical given the stakes. It does, a little, but it makes sense of the military reaction, right? The Onomorph Extermination Rangers, OXR, they reactivated immediately. They teamed up with the supernovas, the island natives too. And the main theory, the fear driving it all, was that these Onomorphs weren't just, random space bugs. The thinking was they were drawn from the spirit realm, coming through reality barriers weakened by all the previous fighting.
Okay, and the fight ramped up fast. We saw key places get overrun, like Utopia City flipping to Dystopia City in a V37.10 update. For the players, the loopers, the main job was clearing outposts, taking out these Onomorph queens. They were dug in at the Hive, Rangers Ruin, Demons Debris, those spots.
Right, but then the story takes this huge dramatic turn, the Megazord rising moment. That was update V37.30. Zordon himself, realizing how bad this invasion was, actually sent the 5 Power Rangers to the island. And their whole operation, scouting, setting up supply lines, it all built up to summoning the Megazord.
The Megazord. And it wasn't just for the regular bugs, was it? It was against Rita Repulsa's monster, which had somehow fused with a giant Onomorph queen.
Exactly, a giant queen fusion monster. And the sheer power needed to take that down. It just obliterated the Hive.
Wow. So that completely changed the tide of the war.
Totally. And that speed, resolving the main conflict just 7 weeks into the season, doesn't that fundamentally alter how you even play the season? It forces you, the player, to see the map, the whole story, as completely temporary, which is a major shift in, player psychology. By October 2nd, the main military goal was done. The island started this rapid rebuilding phase.
Okay, let's pivot then, from plot to the actual ground. How quickly did the map reflect these wins and losses?
Oh, instantly, and in 2 really distinct phases. First, the corruption, then the cure. So V3720, August 7th, the swarm spreads the cyan-colored corruption biome. New naming locations pop up like OXR HQ, but then, boom, Megazord wins. V37.4, October 2nd, the island basically hits reset. Regenerating plants cured the corruption. The Hive vanished, replaced instantly by Bugswater Beach. Dystopia City flipped right back to Utopia City.
That speed is pretty jarring, though. But the cure, it didn't exactly stick around for long, did it?
No, not at all. Because that rapid cure kind of proved the underlying theory. The realm barriers were still weak, totally unstable, and that instability led directly into the next big shift, Fortnitemares 2025. That was V3750 just a week later, October 9th. Suddenly the theme changes again. Purple fog everywhere, spooky new spots like creepy camps and Pumpkin Pass just appear, and this thorn outbreak started taking over places like Thorny Throne, replacing the nice healing plants.
Speaking of rapid shifts, and sort of cultural moments, we have to talk about the mid-season stuff. This season apparently holds the record for the most mid-season client updates in 5 years, 7 of them. They were clearly reacting to more than just bugs.
Absolutely. The biggest one centered on that weird black monolith. It just appeared, replacing the crashed plane POI. Started off simple, but by September 19th, it had this countdown timer, these weird silver and gold patterns.
And music.
Yeah.
It wasn't just generic background stuff. It was playing instrumental bits from Daft Punk. I feel it coming, Starboy.
Yeah, but the peak was September 27th. Get this. If you interacted with the monolith, it literally pulled you out of your battle royale match and teleported you straight into the Daft Punk experience. They paused the main game loop for a music event. That's a pretty bold move, prioritizing a cultural moment over the core competitive play, you know?
It really shows how committed they were to the crossovers. They didn't just slap a Megazord skin on something. They went all in. Like the season's live-action trailer. Shot in tokusatsu style, that classic over-the-top Japanese live-action look. A perfect nod to Power Rangers and Super Sentai. And somehow, amidst all this reality-bending stuff, they still paused for Fortnite's 8th birthday on September 23rd. Dropped birthday cakes at 10 POIs.
Let's quickly touch on mechanics, too, because that military theme went deep into the gameplay itself. The loot pool was heavy on bug zapping gear, new weapons like the OXR rifle, the Lead Spitter 3000, that Wrecker revolver.
And they did that unique faction loot thing, too, right? Where key items like Slurp Juice were locked to specific chests. You could only find them in OXR chests or the Hive stashes. So you kind of had to engage with the war stuff to get certain resources.
Exactly, but the real takeaway for me is the dynamic balancing. They were adjusting things almost minute by minute, it felt like. That detail about the Hollow Twister assault rifle being vaulted at 3:48 p.m. ET on the very first day, that's not just trivia. It tells you how sensitive the meta was, how closely the devs were watching and tweaking. Then you saw the Shockwave Hammer come back.
Only to get vaulted again almost immediately in September.
Yeah, it's the definition of a constantly shifting sandbox. And right after the Megazord win, in V37.4Z, they vaulted all the queens and bosses. First time in Chapter 6, the map had 0 bosses, signaled a real end to the war phase, even though Fortnitemares brought new threats right after.
Which brings us neatly to the absolutely wild, reality-breaking ending.
Yeah.
The swarm was gone, sure, but the main problem, those weak realm barriers, was still there. The season's final live event. Welcome, our alien overlords.
Right, so you need to track 3 things. The aliens, our heroes, and this shard. The instability from the bug war causes this weird treehouse to just sprout up. Creates a tear in the spirit realm veil. And that's when Kang and Kodos show up to investigate the anomaly.
Okay, but they weren't after the bugs. They were trying to curry favor with the Dark Presence, who'd slipped back through that reopened portal.
Precisely. So they grab 2 of our main heroes, Hope and Jones, abduct them.
But Hope fights back, right? She manages to somehow overpower them, takes control of their saucer, uses their ship to attack the Dark Presence.
An incredible moment. And when the saucer gets tossed into this inter-reality wormhole during the chaos, Jones spots it, the 0-point shard. It's lodged right in the Dark Presence's chest. Hope manages to snag a piece of it with a tractor beam just as they're pulled into the wormhole.
Okay, and this is where it just goes completely off the rails. Inside the wormhole, Hope and Kodos are fighting over the controls, arguing about landing back on Oninoshima versus Springfield.
Yep, pure chaos. And them messing with the controls causes multiple realities to just smash together, fusing with Springfield's reality, creating Springfield Island.
So after giant robots and bug queens, we end with a crash landing. Hope loses the shard piece because the battle bus, driven by Automan somehow, crashes into them.
Exactly. The shard piece goes flying, lands right in Homer Simpson's house while he's fiddling with his broken TV remote.
Oh my god. And Homer.
Homer hears about the shard's power, puts 2 and 2 together in that unique Homer way, and does the only logical thing. He jams the 0-point shard piece into his TV remote, turning it into a reality-bending device. I mean, who else but Homer looks at the key to bending reality and thinks, perfect, now I can find the channel with the good snacks.
What an absolutely insane 86 days, seriously.
Yeah.
Started with a rotting tentacle, ended with Power Rangers, Daft Punk, and Homer Simpson holding a reality remote. Shock and Awesome barely covers it. And just to hammer home the scale, this season still holds the record for the most new named locations, added a whopping 14 new POIs in under 3 months.
It really highlights just how fast everything can change in this game's universe. Narratives, the actual map, even the basic rules of reality. It's a perfect example of, I guess, a design philosophy that prioritizes constant, unpredictable change.
Exactly. So here's something for you to chew on as you go about your day. Homer Simpson now has a reality-bending remote control. He's seeking nirvana, apparently, and wants to improve the lives of Springfield residents. Given Homer's personality and track record, what's the single most unexpected or maybe potentially disastrous improvement he would have inflicted on Springfield Island with that stolen 0-point shard? Let that one simmer.